This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights refusing to go down without a fight. Up 1-0, down 3-1. They cut it to 3-2. Edmonton opens up the third period with a nearly instantaneous score, making it 4-2, and the Knights have answered. Victor Olofsson with the goal, 4-3. Edmonton leading it inside 15 minutes to go in the game as Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo continues to take you through your Thursday night with some intense action down the road at T-Mobile. The Oilers up 4-3 in the game, up 1-0 in this series. Minus $4 on the money line. It was just 11 that they were laying. The Knights currently plus 260. That puck line back down from 2.5 to 1.5. Plus 25 cents if you want to lay it with Edmonton. Minus 60 cents on the Knights. That live total, which was 4.5 when the show began, and the Knights had a 1-0 lead. That live total is now 9.5. I believe the total on the game pre-flop was 6.5, so that's gone over with about 15 minutes to go in the game. Crazy, huh? 1-0 after one period. Just an absolute flurry of goals since. In the last 25 minutes of hockey, there have been 6 goals combined. 4 by the Oilers, 2 more by the Knights. Jack Eichel, how about 8 assists in his last 5 games? 3 tonight, if I read that correctly. He's assisted on all 3 goals. My goodness, have yourself a night, Eichel. He's had a really good postseason. And this is a Knights team that I said, to the chagrin of several people coming into this series, I liked Edmonton. I was not impressed with the Knights. Eichel has had a very good postseason. The Knights as a whole, I just was not impressed with that opening round series against Minnesota. So I was on Edmonton coming into this series. They've won, 5 straight now? Looking to make it 6 straight, and they'd be going home. This Oilers team, who was down 0-2 to the Kings, heating up at the right time. 9th inning has begun in Arizona. D-backs up 5-2 on the Dodgers. LA will have 8-9-1, which means if Kim and the 9-hitter can get on for the Dodgers, that 9-hitter, Kike Hernandez, who came in for James Outman, if Kim and Hernandez can get on for the Dodgers, the tying run would be an 0-4 Shohei Ohtani. That just screams, if Ohtani's up with 2 on, 0-4 night in Arizona, that screams live bet him to hit a home run. Ginkel in to pitch for the D-backs. Got a save the other day against my Mets. It was a laborious outing for him, though. Threw upwards of 30 pitches while notching the save. Mets made him work. He's been a little shaky since assuming that closer role. Arizona's got some injuries they've had to overcome to their bullpen, as Kim ropes one, but right at the right fielder. So that's a quick out. I believe that's Corbin Carroll out there in right for Arizona. So a hard hit, first out for the Dodgers in the top of the 9th. Angels got 1 back, bottom of the 7th. Stranded runners on the corners, Yohan Moncada did, who went deep last night to end the inning. So it's 7-5 Jays as George Springer's up in the top of the 8th. Run line 2.5 plus $1.65 if you want to lay it with Toronto currently up 2, minus $2 to the Angels side of things. Money line Toronto minus 14.50, LA plus 7.50 out there in Anaheim. Those are your live games going on right now. 2 on the diamond as Kike Hernandez skies one to shallow left, and the Dodgers are down to their final out with Shohei Ohtani up. Wonder if we can get any fun live props on Ohtani here. He's 0-4. Can you bet him live to get a hit? I don't know if that's available. Depends on the book, I'm sure. Let's take a look. This might be, okay, Ohtani. 5th plate appearance. Oh my God, you can bet on the pitch. Second pitch. Will it be a strike or foul ball? Will it be a ball or a hit by pitch? Or will it be in play? That's insane. I was just trying to bet on the at-bat, not the pitch. You can also bet, will the next pitch be 94.95 miles per hour or faster? How is this news to me? You can live bet on the velo of the next pitch. I mean, in theory, wouldn't you just go double or nothing until he throws a heater? Maybe not down to their final out because the ball game could end. But earlier in the game, wow. I didn't know we're betting on pitch velo now. I was just trying to see if Ohtani would get a hit. 2-1 count to Shohei. Down 5-2. Swinging like he's going to hit a 6-run home run here. Come on, man. Just get on base. 2-2 count. Back-to-back curveballs from Ginkel. And Ohtani just swinging out of his shoes as we've seen him so many times. I'll tell you, it's a miracle this guy doesn't pull an oblique every time he swings. He swings with so much force and so much torque. Here's the 2-2. High heat, 96. Hey, if you went over 94.95 miles per hour, congratulations. You just cashed on a 96 mile per hour shoulder high ball. Full count to Ohtani. Mookie Betts on deck. Tying run would be in the hole. Ginkel goes back to the curve. Really well placed outside corner. Ohtani grabs a piece to foul it off. The Oilers on a power play here. Up 4-3 over the Knights. Vegas has now outshot Edmonton, although with that one it's even, 21 apiece. As the Knights make the save, and we'll do the face-off all over again. Ohtani got one, I think. Wow. What did I say? Fifth at-bat on an 0-for-4 night? What are the home run odds? Well, there it is. Ohtani sends one to the pool area. 5-3 Dodgers. If you took the run line, it was plus 2.5, plus 230. Halfway through the eighth. Well, barring something nuts, that looks like a winner. I guess in theory, if the Dodgers tie it, go to extras, and Arizona was to hit a walk-off 3-runner grand slam, it would be a loser. But that would be pretty specific, pretty crazy circumstances. So it's looking like that Dodgers run line plus 2.5 should be good as Mookie Betts steps in. LA was down to their final strike. Now a 5-3 game with the tying run Freddie Freeman on deck. That was Ohtani's 11th home run of the season. 1-0 count to Mookie. And that'll be a 1-1. 95 again. Over on that 94.95 mile per hour prop. A minute to go on the Oilers power play. Behind the net currently, Perry and McDavid working it back up to the point. I will say ESPN makes it so much easier when they highlight the name of whoever the puck handler is, because otherwise there'd be no way in hell I'd be able to tell you who's got the puck. So shout out to ESPN for that, and shout out to our girl Stormy Bonantoni, who's ringside reporting on this game. Mookie Betts gives one a ride, deep center field, not deep enough. Alec Thomas is there, and Arizona will win it 5-3. Taking the first game of a series where they were, I believe, 4-1 to win the series, 4-game set. The tie was plus 170. If you looked at the pitching matchups, and we'll talk series prices as the show progresses, LA had the clear advantage games 1 and 2 with Yamamoto against Fott, and I love Fott. Advantage Yamamoto, obviously, at a .9 ERA coming into this one. Game 2, Friday, Sasaki opposite Eduardo Rodriguez. Should be a bounce back for the Dodgers. But games 3 and 4, advantage Arizona. Corbin Burns, game 3. I forget off the top of my head who's going for the Dodgers in that game 3. Game 4, Tony Gonsolin for LA, opposite Zach Gallen for Arizona. So a tie was plus 170. Arizona's got pitching advantages 2 out of the next 3. It feels like that tie is now the floor. D-backs to win the series was 4-1. And that feels pretty live right now. Although my gut would tell me this probably ends in a tie. I'd love to see Arizona win the series. Take 3 out of 4 or better from the Dodgers. That would be fantastic. Let's see if we've got updated odds or if it's too close to the conclusion of the game. Appears to be too close to the conclusion of the game to get an update on a series price. Friday night's game with Sasaki on the bump. The Dodgers minus 30 cents. That's closer than I would have thought. Eduardo Rodriguez out there, I mean, that might be a Dodgers money line play. Coming off a loss. Clear pitching advantage. And look, I don't love Sasaki yet. I think he's going to be really darn good. He's young. You know, it's like Yamamoto a year ago. I think Yamamoto was a little ahead of Sasaki, but especially in terms of composure. I think Yamamoto came over a little bit of a more mature head on his shoulders, despite both being young. But Sasaki's got great stuff, and the Dodgers just crush Eduardo Rodriguez. Even the lefties do. Conforto, Freeman, and Ohtani are a combined 11 for 28 off of Eduardo Rodriguez. Those are three lefties. Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. Dodgers, money line, minus 130 on Friday. How do you pass up on that? 79 at-bats against E-Rod. They've got a collective 330 average, 900 OPS. Coming off a loss, it's the last game of the series that they've got a pitching advantage. I think that's where we're going to go Friday night is Dodgers money line in Arizona coming off the loss. Plenty more Friday action, hoops, baseball, maybe a little hockey. Hey, talked about the Capitals. It was plus 115 yesterday on cashing out. They closed plus $1.45. Get there 3-1. That series knotted up going to Raleigh. Maybe Washington. Prove a few people wrong there. I love it. Folks, you ready to get into the action? If so, First Bet's got you covered. Sign up now. You can access exclusive promotions and bet on hundreds of thrilling horse races every day right from your phone or computer. Just go to firstbet.com. It's the number one, stbet.com. Use the promo code VSIN200. You can score a 20% rebate on all wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today at firstbet.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Myself, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Thursday night through the conclusion of this Edmonton-Vegas game. We'll have continuous updates down the stretch here. The Oilers currently up 4-3 down the road with 9 minutes to go at commercial break. Edmonton, money line, minus 580. Knights, plus 380, down 1. The puck line, 1.5. Laying 60 cents if you take the Knights. If you take Edmonton minus the 1.5, it's plus $1.25. That total shot up to 9.5 briefly. Back down to 8.5. Minus 166 to the over. Plus $1.30 to the under. They're currently on 7. So if you think there's one more goal scored or no more goals scored, plus money, plus $1.30 to the under as the third period resumes fresh off the commercial break. The Angels, bottom of the 8th, trail the Blue Jays 8-5, 1 out. Joe Adell, the 8-hitter, up against Yariel Rodriguez, who I believe pitched last night for Toronto. So if Adell can get on, maybe flip the lineup. He did hit a solo shot in the second. Got some pop. He's got 4 homers on the year. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had 2 in an inning earlier this season. And he goes down looking on a splitter, dots the corner at the knees. I believe Adell, who hit his 4th home run here tonight, had 2 in 1 inning for the Angels about a week or 2 ago. So he goes down. LA down to their final 4 outs, trailing 8-5 in that one out there in Anaheim. More on the Angels to come, though, as we look ahead to the weekend. I might like them as a plus money home dog series price against, right now, it's been a terrible Baltimore Orioles team that's headed to SoCal fresh off getting swept by the Minnesota Twins. We know our boss Steve Cohen's happy about that one. I don't know how the hell he became a Twins fan, but somehow the New Yorker we report to is a lifelong Minnesota Twins fan. So Minnesota suddenly has put a little winning streak together, and now I believe they're just 2 games under 500 as they get ready to play host to the 24-14 San Francisco Giants on Friday night. I'll tell you what, look at the over. That's an Apple TV game, 5 p.m. West Coast time. Jordan Hicks, ERA north of 6. Chris Paddock, ERA almost 6. Wonder what the total is going to be in Minnesota for that one. It's going to be a hot one, 81 degrees at first pitch. That ball would be flying there. It's a nice changeup from many games in the 40s that the Twins have played at home to start the year. By the way, they're 12-6 at home in the early goings of the season. Let's shift gears a little bit to the NBA. Golden State, Minnesota, the lone game Thursday night as the Knights have tied it down the road. Wow. This Vegas team refusing to have any quit in them. What a much-needed spark for the Knights. Who was that? Was that... Can't see who it was. Pietrangelo. Thank you to our producer, Jared Moore, for throwing that in my ear. Some contact by the net. Looked like the Edmonton defender bumped into the goalie. And Pietrangelo able to sneak that one through. Wow. 4-4. We are all tied up down the road. If you had an over in this one, it was 6.5. How about that? 1-0 after the first period. Since then, we've only had 7 goals. 15th career playoff goal for the defenseman. It is a new game. Edmonton on the money line when they went up 4-2 was minus 1150. They are now ever so slight underdogs. And I mean ever so slight. It's practically a pick'em. Knights money line minus 120. Oilers minus 10 cents. We've got extracurriculars behind the net. Things are getting chippy. Things are getting feisty. That total, 9.5. If you go over, it's 2-1. They're at 8. 2 more goals. Who's to say there can't be 2 more? Obviously, if the score holds and we go to overtime, you'd be sunk. But over 9.5 is better than 2-1. Moneyline is a pick'em. Knights have the momentum. Back-to-back unanswered goals for your Las Vegas Golden Knights right down the road at T-Mobile. Personally, I'm just hoping this thing ends in regulation. I don't want to be competing with traffic should they go to overtime. And if this thing would end right around the same time as cashing out ends, that would be about my worst nightmare. So I'm just rooting for a regulation finish, no matter who it is. I did lean Oilers on the series before. I mean, I still would, even if the Knights got this one. You'd expect the Knights to win at least one at home. This much more of a must-win for Vegas than it is for Edmonton. As if the Knights lose, they'd be down 0-2 going to Edmonton for Game 3 over the weekend. What a game. Playoff hockey. There is nothing like it. Was just about to get into the playoff hoops when that goal got scored by Pietrangelo. And, I mean, frankly, the recap of that one, there was nowhere near the amount of excitement in that hoops game that we've got right now at T-Mobile down the road. Minnesota blows out Golden State. They cover the 10.5 with ease. 24-point win, 117-93. They went up 29-15 after the first, and they outscored Golden State by 3 or 4 each quarter the rest of the way. So the Warriors never really threatened that initial lead all that much. Usually we look at the NBA and things can be back and forth. There's good live betting spots. Not in this one. It was Minnesota from start to finish. The Warriors went on a little run in the third quarter. Timberwolves ended up winning the quarter and immediately shutting down any hopes that Golden State had of pulling off the comeback without Steph. How'd they shoot without Steph? Not well. 9 of 32 from deep, just 28%. 44.5% from the floor, 64% from the free throw line. You could tell that they missed Curry in this one. Jonathan Kuminga led the way for the losing team with 18. Jimmy had 17, Buddy Hield and Trace Jackson Davis off the bench, both had 15 in the loss. For Minnesota, Jules Randle was your high scorer. Double-double and not on the glass. How about 24 points and 11 dimes for Randall, easily clearing his assist prop in that one. Jaden McDaniels had 16. Anthony Edwards had 20. So did Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 20-piece off the bench. Dante DiVincenzo, we mentioned earlier in the show, I tweeted out earlier in the day with the news that the new Pope Leo, I believe the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, first American Pope, a Villanova grad. I said, you got to go DiVincenzo over 2.5 threes at plus money. Well, he goes 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. 3 threes, gets home on the hook. 9 points, 5 dimes for the Villanova Wildcat off the bench. And Minnesota has knotted things up at 1 apiece. They will go to the Bay Area as 5-point favorites Saturday evening. Again, no Steph Curry. Hard to think Golden State can win or even cover that 5-point number without Steph. They held pace second half, game 1. Without Curry, he left in the second quarter, remember? And Golden State still had a good second half, held the lead as Edmonton's threatening here and they lose the puck. That was a point-blank attempt if he didn't cough it up. So Golden State game 1, I think these guys gave a lot of viewers false hope that they could, without Steph, kind of carry the momentum over. Now you look back at game 1 and it's looking like that might have just been on adrenaline. They had the lead. They kept it going. Hey, let's finish this one off for Steph. Game 2, they just came out flat, and flatter. It was ugly game 2. Start to finish. 15 points in the first quarter. Looking ahead to Friday in the NBA, I think we're going to have a couple of good games on our hands. Look, I'm not anticipating another near 50-point OKC win, but I do think the Thunder cover. And I get it, right? You're an odds maker in the playoffs. You don't want to react to one game. How oftentimes do we see a 20, 30-point game go one way and then the next game the other team wins, right? Maybe not by 20, but they win. So Denver mailed it in. Oklahoma City wins it by damn near 50, game 2. If you think that Oklahoma City is going to win by 20, 30, 50 again in game 3, I can't get behind that. Can they win by 10? Yeah, that's something I can get behind. I think OKC -5 is the move. Look, they showed, and this team is so young that I'm not really worried about Denver and the altitude. Oklahoma City showed if they get to dictate the pace, Denver just can't keep up. Denver's guards don't compare. Jamal Murray has some great games, and look, over 20.5 points for Murray, that's something that I'd stop and look at and consider. But the rest of their backcourt, they can't keep up with OKC. And if the Thunder dictate the pace, they're going to win this game and they're going to cover that 5-point number. And I think that's exactly how it's going to go down Friday night. I like OKC -5. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo. My worst nightmare might be coming true. The Oilers and Knights, 2.5 minutes away from potentially going to overtime. I just need a regulation finish. Don't let me be competing with this traffic on the way home, please. Let's see what we can get here. 2:15 to go. Are the odds up? They're frozen. Only money line available. Knights -125, Oilers -105. Slight dogs, laying a little bit of juice for each side here. 2 minutes. We have hit the 2-minute mark. This is going to be a hell of a finish. This has been a hell of a game. If you're just tuning in, just joining us here on Cashing Out, or maybe you've been missing the action on the ice thus far, the Knights led it 1-0 after the first. Oh my God, Edmonton, what a kick save! I thought the Oilers had the. Wow! I thought the Oilers had a go-ahead goal. Kick save and a beaut. Holy cow. Edmonton was point blank at the net. And Hill just slipping and sliding all over the place. Keeping the Knights night alive. Wow. Edmonton crashed that net hard. Got a minute and a half to go. As I was saying, Knights were up 1-0 after the first period. Edmonton answered with 3 straight goals, made it 3-1. Golden Knights cut it to 3-2. Edmonton answers to start the third period, make it 4-2, just 2 minutes into the third. The Knights answered again and again, back-to-back goals for Vegas, and that's how we got here at 4-4. Edmonton, 30 shots on net. The Knights, 25. 90 seconds exactly to go in regulation. This is going to be some finish down the road at T-Mobile Arena. Wow. This has been a crazy game. Knights up early. Oilers had 2 separate 2-goal leads. What do they always say? Growing up playing the NHL video game, right? Every time you went up 2, on loop. 2-goal lead, most dangerous lead in hockey. Well, the Oilers have blown 2 separate 2-goal leads in this one. All the momentum seems to be in the Knights' favor. Vegas, minus $1.25 on the money line. Oilers, minus 105. 50 seconds to go. Knights behind Edmonton's net control the puck. Get it out to the point. Can they generate a shot here? 35 seconds left. Still behind the net. Back out to the point. Vegas moving the puck around, trying to find an open look. They fire one wide left. Keep the puck in the offensive zone, though. 20 seconds. Are we going to get a finish in regulation? 15 seconds. This thing is nuts. A slap shot from the point. No good. Rebound effort. No good. Inside 10 seconds. 7. 5. Wow. No good. Wide right. The shot attempt from Eichel. Puck will rattle around the boards, and that'll take us to overtime. Free hockey down the road. 4-4. The Oilers and the Knights all knotted up. OT coming up. My goodness. Vegas minus 25 cents. Oilers minus 5 cents on the money line as we get ready for some free hockey in what's been a ridiculously exciting Game 2. Eichel let it rip, went high. That was a ridiculous shot by Eichel. That thing was a bullet right off the stick. All right, free hockey it is. Let's continue to look ahead to Friday. Touched on Oklahoma City, Denver right before the break. Indiana, Cleveland, the early game in the NBA. And I really like the Pacers in this Game 3. I think that all the people saying Cleveland's going to go and this is their game to take, I could not disagree anymore. First off, the Cavs have the 3 guys who missed Game 2 all questionable for Game 3. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter. All questionable. I'd bet at least 2 of those 3 cats play. So I'm on Indiana even if Mobley, Garland, Hunter, even if at least 2 of them, if not all 3 play. I just think the Pacers going home, raucous crowd, they know the deal. You know the drill. You go up 3-0 in the NBA, that's it. It's done. Night-night, series over. I think Indiana is going to go out there. Couple extra days of rest, right? Last game was what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, 2 days between games 2 and 3. I think the Pacers leave it all out there Game 3. If Cleveland's going to get one in Indiana, I think it's Game 4, not Game 3. The Pacers are just too deep. I mean, they pulled off the miraculous comeback Game 2, right? Eastern Conference, I mean, these games, Indiana, Cleveland, Knicks, Celtics, these have all been absolutely unreal games. And Indiana pulled off the ridiculous comeback for the second time in 3 games. They trailed Milwaukee by 7 inside of 45 seconds to go. Game 5, the clincher, pulled it off, won it. They were down 118 to 111. They won it 119 to 118. They trailed Cleveland 119 to 112 inside of 45 seconds to go. They won it 120 to 119. I mean, if you can pull that off on a night where I know the Cavs were down 3 crucial, integral pieces, Garland, Mobley, and Hunter, but on a night where Donovan Mitchell puts up a 48 spot, on a night where Sam Merrill and Max Strus shot the ball well. Remember, both of those guys, neither had it going on game 1. Both of them shot well game 2. Jarrett Allen gave you a 22 and 12 double-double. And Indiana pulled off the comeback. I love Donovan Mitchell. I wish he was a Knick every day. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's putting up another 48 piece. Game 3 on the road. And Garland, Hunter, Mobley, whether they play or not, they're not going to be 100%. And Indiana is so deep. These guys have not, really been worn down to the extent that Cleveland's active star players have been. I say active because obviously they were down 3 men game 2, down Garland game 1. I think Tyrese Halliburton, who was clutch as hell, obviously had the what I was calling the cross-up, cash-out game winner, top of the key 3 in game 2. Halliburton, prior to that, didn't really have his best game. I think Halliburton at home might have a massive showing. His points prop coming in 18.5. And I'm looking for a 20-piece from Halliburton. Spicy P only had 12 game 2. Could Siakam step up? I mean, that's the thing with this Indiana team. You've legitimately got 7-8 guys who could step up every night. Nembhard, Mathurin. I mean, these ancillary pieces, their backcourt is so deep. McConnell coming off the bench. Indiana has such a deep backcourt. And then Siakam and Miles Turner down low, just absolutely consistent. Not going to have massive games every time out, but incredibly consistent on a night-to-night basis. I love the construction of this Indiana team. There is a reason that they have the 4th best record in the NBA since the calendar turned and hit 2025. This team is no fluke. They flew under the radar for a large portion of the season, quietly went about their business, kept on winning. 29-11 at home. Like I said, 4th best record since January 1st in the NBA. I think all the people saying Cleveland game 3 is the one that they take, I think they're wrong. I think maybe it's game 4. But I think Indiana is taking game 3 as this series shifts from Cleveland to Indianapolis, with the Pacers holding that 2-0 lead in the series. Folks, do you want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits here at VSiN come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you the insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa is known for taking big bets from the pros, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kind of wagers that move the lines. See the percentage of bets versus the handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 your first month at VSiN.com/subscribe. Up next, we're going to take a deeper look, a deeper dive into Friday's MLB slate. I've already got one play I love, loaded, locked in, ready to go. It's the Dodgers money line, bounce back spot. Roki Sasaki on the bump opposite Eduardo Rodriguez. We'll see what VSiN's own Greg Peterson thinks about that one. We'll get Greg's take on a ton of other games too. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Thursday night, right on into your Friday morning here on the program. Getting ready to deep dive Friday's slate on the diamond over in Major League Baseball. Who better to do it with than, as promised, our baseball guru here at VSiN, Greg Peterson, joining us now on the Progressive Guest Line. And Greg, when I run for the highest office in this nation one day on a cross-party ticket alongside Dave Ross, One thing that we are going to implement is that there will be day game baseball every day throughout the regular season. We're looking at a Friday slate where the earliest game is 6:40 p.m. Eastern time. I mean, is that terrible or what?
That's not terrible. That's beyond terrible. And by the way, I know that Adam Shine is a big stand for day baseball as well, so you can get him as one of your cabinet members. I will vote for that party every single time, and we will make sure that day baseball is here in our lives for those of us that both enjoy baseball and enjoy sweating out games at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll tell you what, if Adam Shine and myself were ever in a part of the same cabinet, same administration, easily the best hair of any administration in the history of this country.
Agreed.
There would be no doubt about that. I learned everything in terms of my hair game from Shine back when I was his intern. Let's dive into this Friday slate. I want to start with a late game because this is a game I've already locked in. It's the only bet I've already locked in for Friday. Dodgers, D-backs. I'm on LA money line. I think minus 130 is a really fair price with Sasaki on the bump opposite Eduardo Rodriguez. Greg, what's your handicap on this game? What's your best bet in this one?
I'd be willing to go up to more around a minus 125 on the Dodgers, so I'm going to be waiting on a little bit of line movement there, but what I actually really like is the under. Eduardo Rodriguez has north of a 5 ERA, but if you look at the way that he's been able to get strikeouts, it's been pretty solid, and for the LA Dodgers, I feel like Roki Sasaki is starting to come into his own as well. He had those janky starts towards the beginning part of the season where he was giving up a whole bunch of walks. Just feels like with every passing start, he's gotten more and more comfortable. And I think what helps out the Dodgers' case in this game as well is the fact that they had Jack Dreyer come into the game tonight. He threw 3 innings of relief, which means that all of your notable relievers, your guys like Tanner Scott, your guys like a guy like shall we say, Kirby Yates, they're going to be able to do a nice job being able to hold it down as well. So I do think that those guys coming in is going to be solid. And for the Diamondbacks, feels like the bullpen has been able to sort things out a little bit ever since the AJ Puck injury. So being able to get a 10 in this total, I think that's gone a little bit too high. I do like that under. And like I said, if we could get down like 5 more cents, I'll be in on the Dodgers with you.
Greg, what are your thoughts on this cat? Here's a pitcher I love, Hunter Brown, taking the bump for the Houston Astros. This was a guy who I thought deserved some consideration preseason for the AL Cy Young, coming in around 25-1 at most shops. Now he's shortened up within, I believe, 6-1. He's on the bump for Houston opposite Nick Martinez and the Reds. Anything in this game stand out?
Yeah, with Hunter Brown, to your point, this guy has been absolutely magnificent this year. Even though he gave up 3 runs in his last start, 4 runs allowed over his last 5. And personally, I do look at the Houston Astros on the run line in this ordeal because you do have a Reds team that is a little bit banged up with their lineup. They've got a lot of guys that I was really liking, like Austin Hayes, Neovoli, Marte. Both of those guys land on the injured list, and Elly De La Cruz has been so feast or famine this year. I expected a little bit more out of him, and you mentioned it with Hunter Brown, way that he's getting strikeouts, and he's honed in on the command. That was what was really killing him towards the early part of his career. Now about 2.1 walks per 9 innings and backed up by a really good Houston Astros bullpen. With this Astros bullpen, you've got Brian King, Brian Abreu, Josh Hader, all these guys coming in, locking it down. And I do think that there's some positivity coming for this Astros lineup against a guy Nick Martinez that is good at not allowing a lot of walks, but he's going to give up quite a bit of a contact as well. We saw the Reds completely blowtorch the game here tonight against the Atlanta Braves, where they lose that game in 11 innings. So that bullpen is a little bit taxed. Seeing that total of 7.5, I do like the over as a result. I do think that there's a little bit of regression coming here for Hunter Brown, but I also think that there's progression coming for the Astros lineup as well. So also like that run line.
Yeah, that lineup's been dreadful. If the Astros can't score 4 or more runs, they don't have a shot. That run line, minus 1.5, plus $1.25. Little risky because they're the home team, so if they're up 1 after the top of the 9th, they're not getting those 3 at-bats. However, if you want to bet them to not bat bottom of the 9th, that's minus 115. So not the same sexy price, but better than the money line, which they're laying about 75 cents on. Speaking of pretty egregious prices, how about the Tigers? Tarek Skubal on the bump opposite Patty Corbin and the Rangers. Detroit's laying 270 on the money line. Is there any way to bet this one, Greg?
Minus 270 is a number that I'm going to very much pass on. I was seeing a minus 125 run line a little bit before. I'm even seeing a minus 120. I would be willing to take a shot there. Like, ever since Patrick Corbin got bitten by that venomous creature, he's actually been a little bit better. I mean, I guess we could call him the Spider-Man of baseball this year. But if you look at the advanced numbers, fielding independent, more than a point higher than his ERA. He's still giving up north of a home run after 9 innings. He's been really lucky on his strand rate. And for the Detroit Tigers, this is a team that is going to have to go from elevation, and that's a little bit difficult to do. You always want to be gauging that, but being able to do so against Patrick Corbin, a little bit easier than going up against a, shall we say, ace. And for the Detroit Tigers, this has been a lineup that has come into their own, like Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, have delivered on the promise that they showed many years ago as prospects. And for the Detroit Tigers, I know that they're the home team, but the way that bullpen is able to lock it down against a Rangers team that we just saw them get blanked against Brian Bale and company of the Boston Red Sox yesterday, I do like the Detroit Tigers to get the job done. And Tariq Skubal has been absolutely magnificent here ever since those first 2 starts of the season, willing to take that run line. And if you're still getting a 7.5, which I'm seeing pretty much across the board, do like that under.
Yeah, Greg, I don't like run lines for home teams. This might be an exception, more so than even the Astros game, where you look at Detroit and this lineup just crushes lefties. I mean, they did it again with Kyle Freeland. I jokingly, when I laid the run line with them in game 1 of that doubleheader, quipped that they could win this game 18-5. I actually have that in writing. It was 9-0 after 3 innings. I thought 18-5 was actually in play as the Tigers sweep the doubleheader and ultimately the series from Colorado. This team is the real deal. Speaking of teams that might be the real deal, no one hotter than the Kansas City Royals. Michael Lorenzen on the bump opposite Hunter Dobbins and the Red Sox. Kansas City, a slight home underdog in this one. I'm seeing -102. You can get even money out there in some markets. Do we just keep riding the Royals, especially at home?
Would like to see this get a little bit closer to a plus price rather than just even money, but I do think that when it's all said and done, we should probably be able to find a plus 105, but I actually like the under here. And the big reason why, this Royals bullpen has actually been very good this year. Top 6 team in terms of bullpen ERA, sub-3 ERA, that the 8th and 9th inning duo of Lucas Erceg, Carlos Aceves has been absolutely magnificent. And for Boston, it just feels like a wobbly team right now. Like, they've got obviously quite a bit of talent, but Tristan Casas has been out of the fold for the last week or so that has hurt them quite a bit, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. You got the whole Rafael Devers situation, which I don't know what to make out of that. So that's very interesting. And of course, he homers here on Thursday, so go figure on that front end. For the Royals, seems like the offense is starting to come into its own. Vinny Pasquantino has been able to hit a few more home runs. Bobby Witt Jr. has moved line all season long, but hasn't shown as much power this season. But I'm just a little bit of a believer in that bullpen. Would like to, like I said, see this get to like a closer to a plus 105 or so. But right now, looking at the Royals based on the late night live movement, I do like that under.
Greg, this one intrigues me. It's not a pretty matchup, but that total of 9 might be screaming for me to take the over. Giants, Twins, Jordan Hicks, Chris Paddock. Couple of ERAs that total 12 if you add them up together. Minnesota's quietly hot. They're within 2 games of 500. San Francisco's been great this year, but they're just hardly above 500 on the road. The Twins, great at home, winning 2 out of 3 in that ballpark. 80 degrees. Are we looking at over 9 runs?
I'm actually going to take the under in this spot as Chris Paddock has finally been able to find it. He is, in his last 5 starts, given up 3 earned runs or fewer in all of them. And for your point, Jordan Hicks has been absolutely awful this season, which is why right now with the San Francisco Giants, they may need to get a little bit more than a plus 103 to be able to dive in here. But that said, what has been good, the Giants bullpen, number 2 in the big leagues in terms of their bullpen ERA. They've had a bunch of guys like Tyler Rogers, Camilo Doval finally looks like the Camilo Doval that we all know and love last year was just a little bit of a outlier for him. So I think that that's very big. And for the Minnesota Twins, it's just been a very inconsistent lineup all season long, with Carlos Correa being one of the bigger wastes of monies in all of baseball right now. You do have Royce Lewis now healthy, which, I mean, Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton being healthy, someone call the papers because that doesn't happen very often. But I am going to be willing to take a shot on the under because I actually liked what I've seen out of Chris Paddock over his last few starts.
All right, look at that. Going opposite me there. Maybe I'll keep my hands in my pockets on that one. Greg, as always, my man, great stuff. Really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Always appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Follow him on Twitter at @GUnit_81. VSiN College Hoops and MLB expert Greg Peterson. And don't forget to get your own VSiN Pro subscription. We're running a hell of a hot deal right now. 14 months for just $1.99. It's $40 off our normal annual price plus 2 months free. You sign up, VSiN Pro subscription. You'll also get Greg's daily MLB write-ups. Just one of many reasons that you need a VSiN Pro annual subscription. Remember, $1.99. You'll get the full year plus 2 extra months free. 14 months, $199. Can't pass up on a value like that. It's a new hour of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. Up next.